if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing, right? You got to become comfortably uncomfortable, I'd say. You need
Yeah.
discipline. It's going to help develop your discipline 100% of the time. It's like
Yeah.
seeing progress is like it's almost addicting, right? When I first started going, I saw progress so rapidly. Still, it's always very motivating when you see progress. You see your work paying off just everywhere. It's like it's hard not to be intimidated, right? But I will say one thing for certain is that the gym is a very open community. I am fortunate enough, at least, to I don't think ever have faced a negative interaction at the gym, right? It's hard not to be discouraged when you fail at something, but you need to learn that you need that failure because you can't be successful if you haven't failed. Failure and success coexist with each other because you can't
Yeah.
have one without the other.
My name is Sam, and I'm on a journey to be successful, not just financially, but physically, socially, and spiritually. The purpose of this podcast is to learn how to do that. So I interview people I think we can all learn from. This is The Growth Apprentice. So, Bridger, could you introduce yourself to the audience? Just tell us a little about who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So my name is Bridger Davis. I'm 18 years old. I graduated high school. I mean, this last May. I just work out a lot. It's kind of my main thing. Just working out. I started going to the gym a while ago, a couple years ago, and I started competing in powerlifting pretty recently. I met Sam here at the gym actually just the other day, and he's a nice guy. I got to talk to him for a sec, and he gave me the invitation to come on, so I thought might as well. And here we are. But I'm excited to see how this goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So how long have you been working out at this point and why did you get into it?
Yeah. So I started working out about 3 years ago. It was around the summer of 2022. I was about 16 years old, I believe. So I kind of started it kind of like the main, I feel big reason that a lot of guys want to start working out is they just want to get big and they want to look good. I personally didn't really, I wasn't super happy with how I looked. And so that was one of my bigger reasonings for getting into it. So I didn't expect, really anything crazy to come out of it when I first started, but I'm glad I did start going. Probably one of the most important decisions I feel I've made in my life. But started going, and honestly, it was really. I hear a lot of stories from when people start, and they said that starting was either difficult or it wasn't, very fun because they're kind of just getting things figured out. But I personally, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed kind of getting used to the ropes, figuring out programming, building my own programming, figuring out workouts. I mean, I'd literally be in the middle of the gym, just like on a machine, looking at YouTube, like watching how to do the workout while I'm doing it, like on a machine. Right. And so I really enjoyed um figuring all that out. And so I kind of got into that. Like I said, for the first little bit, I was just kind of, going about working out, doing my own little program. I didn't really recognize, I guess, how much, I guess, latent potential I had dormanted in me, but I came to the realization I did good on the genetic lottery. I was very blessed with my genetics and not trying to disregard my own hard work because I have put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the gym, but my genetics do play a very big role. Uh, First little bit going at it, I didn't really know anybody at the gym. I didn't talk to anybody. I just kind of kept to myself. But slowly and surely, some other people started noticing me in there. Some of my first real good gym friends I made that I still am friends with today, that I met, and they would kind of come up to me. I remember this one guy, first guy I ever really talked to in the gym. He was a few years older than me. He came up to me and he told me I was doing good, I was looking big, all that good stuff, and that was really good to hear. I feel like because I hadn't heard anything like that before. And he came up to me and he told me I was looking good, and then I was doing good in the gym, and so that held a special place in my heart, I guess you could say. But from there on, him and I were just good buddies. He was Ray, the original gym bro, I guess you could say. So I'm still friends with him today, and he was kind of my, like I said, first buddy there, and that kind of introduced me a bit more into the gym world and a lot more of the people that worked out there. So that's kind of how I got started and how long I've been working out. Like I said, just a few years now, but cheers to plenty more, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. So why do you think that I feel like it's almost easier when you're younger to get started with working out and then keep doing it, but then and you'll see sometimes people, they'll start something and then they'll stop pretty soon. Were there ever times when you wanted to stop working out, or have you just stayed to it since you started?
So I get what you mean. A lot of my when I kind of started going, a lot of my friends they saw and they kind of tagged along too. They wanted to start going, but they eventually kind of stopped working out just even after a few months. I will say that I was very lucky in the sense that I don't think I ever really faced a problem like that. I always really enjoyed working out and I enjoyed going every day and seeing my friends. Friends were really big driving factor for me going. Right. So I enjoyed going. I really enjoyed working out and pushing myself, pushing my body as hard as it could go. And I enjoyed seeing the progress I made, just seeing the fruits of my labor, you know? So I wouldn't say I ever really had, I mean, there's been moments where obviously, like everybody's going to go through them. There's been moments where I'm like, oh, I got to go to the gym today. I don't want to do that. Or like, oh, the gym sucks. I don't want to go today. Like I've had those moments, but I was always really just excited to go to the gym. So it wasn't necessarily hard for me to stay consistent and stay going, I feel, and that was something I got very lucky in. Probably just, I don't know, something due to mindset, I guess, but I always really it was always just a big hobby of mine, you know? I always had fun doing it.
Yeah, it's weird that pushing yourself can actually be very enjoyable.
But yeah, 100%. That's always something I've enjoyed is just pushing myself.
Yeah. Do you think that's a personality thing, like the drive to challenge yourself?
Honestly, yeah, I feel like that is a kind of a select personality trait. I mean, there's things everybody's born with. Some things you kind of have to be born with, I'd say. It's something you can definitely develop, right? Not saying that if you weren't born with the inert drive to push yourself that you'll never have it, right? But I feel like it is a lot more prominent in some people than others, and I feel like I might have been one of those people, and that's kind of why I wanted to go so bad, and I wanted to improve so bad, and I wanted to push myself as hard as I could every day in the gym and
Yeah.
look good, right? There's obviously I feel other, you know, life stressors outside of the gym that can also attribute to that, right? Like I had some other, you know, life events happen that made me want to go to the gym more. I'd say I always found it kind of therapeutic. And that's a
Yeah.
trend I found in a lot of people. And that also got me to go because it was kind of like my form of therapy, right? It was going to the gym. And so I definitely do feel it's a big mindset kind of trait to just have the want to push and the need to become better, I feel.
Yeah. If someone doesn't feel like they have that personality, do you think they should still go to the gym and work out?
100%, right? You don't need the you don't need to have the like the personality trait, I guess, distinct in you to go, right? I mean, it definitely helps, but I feel like if anybody wants to improve themselves in any aspect of life, the gym will help, right? It's not just going to help you build muscle, but it's also going to help develop all these other traits that are important in life, right? You need discipline. It's going to help develop your discipline 100% of the time. You know, delayed gratification because you're not going to see results right off the bat, right? That's a really big thing I've learned is that delayed gratification that you learn from going to the gym is very important later on in life in any other aspect. But I don't think you need the to be born essentially with the drive to go, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you don't want to go and you're still going, that's honestly even more impressive, right? Because that's discipline. That's developing your discipline, and that's also a very, I feel, important trait to have in life is having a very developed sense of discipline.
Yeah. Do you feel like you ever notice a shift between I'm doing this for because I'm motivated to do it versus like this is who I am at this point and I'm just gonna go whether or not I feel like it?
Yeah, I've kind of noticed that shift, right? Like I said, I've always just kind of enjoyed going to the gym, but there have definitely been times where I've got up in the morning and the gym was the last thing on my mind, and I just did not want to go, and I would have rather curled up in a ball and died on the floor there. But I still went because it's a part of who I am at this point. I attribute a lot of my personal development to going to the gym, and I definitely would not be who I am or where I am today without going. But I have definitely had many times where I've had to kind of get up and push myself to go, right? Because, like I said, that's discipline. You need to, sometimes you got to kick it, you know, you just got to get up and do it. It's better than not going at all, right? So I've definitely noticed that shift. I've had a lot of different motivators in my life, a lot of different motivating forces, I guess you could say. It's shifted a lot as well. The reasons for like my why, essentially, for going to the gym. But I will say, I think it is kind of a part of who I am at this point.
Yeah, and I'd say the same for myself too, and it's just so fun at one point, especially once you start seeing progress.
Oh yeah, 100%. It was like seeing progress is like it's almost addicting, right? When I first started going, I saw progress so rapidly. They call it newbie gains, right? Because your body isn't
Yeah,
you kind of it's not really used to that shock, and so it develops crazy fast. Your first,
yeah,
especially your first couple months. My first couple months, like I said, I did well with genetics, right? I got lucky, and so I saw a lot of very quick development. Um, but yeah, seeing that progress it's almost intoxicating, right? It's obviously slowed down a lot nowadays. Now that I'm a bit deeper
yeah,
into my gym journey, but it's still it's always very motivating when you see progress. You see your work paying off.
yeah. That's super cool. So, what's your why right now? Because you said it's shifted throughout the years. What's
I'd
your
say
reason?
I'd say my reason now would be it's a lot of the personal development stuff, because it's a good thing to do in general. It develops you a lot as a person. Like I said, I compete in powerlifting, and so that is a bigger one of my whys, right? Is to get stronger, right? To do better when I compete. I got off my last comp about 2 months ago. I'm prepping for a next one, right? And so that's kind of my big why right now is to go far and do good in powerlifting. And I guess the why for powerlifting is I don't know. That's still something I'm honestly figuring out, right?
Yeah,
I'm kind of got into it. I'm kind of just along for the ride now, but I'm enjoying the journey. I think maybe it's me proving something to myself and not necessarily for other people, but more so just like I said, for myself, just trying to develop myself as a person and
yeah,
grow and be the best version of myself that I can be.
yeah. It builds a lot of character. I feel like
Oh yeah.
you see that attitude. Sometimes you'll see it, but then other times you don't, where people just want to have fun or they just want to, hang out all the time. Have you always been a person who like looked for ways to improve and develop themselves?
Definitely, honestly, no, I would say I wasn't. I'd say that's a shift I've made in the past few years. Growing up, it wasn't really something that was on my mind at all, right? I was just kind of living day to day, especially in my I guess I'm in my late teenage years, kind of, I guess now. But it's something that I've kind of made a shift towards, especially in the past, I would say year or two was the biggest shift I felt towards personal development because I know that um, I need to become better, right? And it wasn't like there's the maturity level there, obviously. I mean, you can't you're 16, 17 years old, like obviously there's gonna be a maturity gap. But
Yeah,
there were just parts of myself that I wanted to grow more, essentially, for my sake and for other people's sake. But definitely the past just few years, I'd say I've really made that shift a lot harder.
yeah. What are some crossovers you've seen in at least going to the gym and building that discipline? How has it crossed over into your personal life?
So, like I said, the one of the really big things is that delayed gratification, right? So right now, for work, the biggest crossover I've seen, I work in a sales position, right? And in any sales position, they're hard, right? I'll say that. It's definitely I feel a bit more difficult than it's my 9 to 5, but it's a bit more difficult than going into to work every day and having work set out for you to do, right? Kind of that
Yeah,
entrepreneurial mindset, essentially when you're kind of starting something like that, kind of starting in a position where it's almost your own business, right? You're not gonna see returns right off the bat. That's just unrealistic, right? And it takes a while to see results, and it takes consistently, and it takes discipline. Essentially, it's that delayed gratification aspect that I've learned from the gym that I feel I can apply to stuff like that because I know that, yeah, I might not be seeing amazing returns right now, but that's just because I'm getting started. I'm getting foundation set up. I'm getting baseline set up. it's that delayed gratification that's going to play into it. And I know that if I keep working hard, my hard work's going to pay off in the end. And so that discipline that I feel sharpened from the gym, and that delayed gratification aspect I've learned from it has rolled over kind of into that aspect of my working life outside of the gym. That's one of the really big things I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really cool. So sales, was that's definitely a more high level job, I would say. What got you into doing that?
Yeah, so a lot of I think one of the biggest reasons honestly is my a lot of my friends actually from the gym that I met at the gym, they all were in, your typical sales position. There are a lot of
Really?
door-to-door salesmen, there's a lot of just other commission-based salesmen, not necessarily just door to door, but a lot of my friends I met have kind of been in that position. I was working at kind of a detailer shop for a while before that, and then I was kinda talking to some of my friends, one of my buddies who did door to door, and he said, "Why don't you come out with us for a bit and just show you the ropes, I guess, show you what it would be like." And so I did, and I enjoyed it, honestly. I enjoyed, um, maybe not necessarily the work, I guess. I wouldn't say a lot of people enjoy working, but I enjoyed the experience, and I enjoyed going out there with my friends or, like, the people I knew and working with them, and that's another part of where discipline comes into because, knocking doors for however many hours is not the most exciting thing on the planet, but neither is any really sort of work, I guess. But that's where that discipline from the gym came into, right? And it played into that. And so I kind of enjoyed the experience. And I felt like there was just a lot of opportunity in sales positions in general. I don't knock door to door now, but I kind of introduced me into that world of sales, I guess, because I never really worked anything like that before. So that kind of got me into the position I am now. I actually met the job I'm working at currently. I actually met someone again at the gym, right? Who worked there, and he introduced me to it as well. And I was like, well, sales position sounds nice. I mean, I might as well just go check out my opportunity, right? Because I graduated high school early, so I had some extra time just to check out my different options. So I went and checked that out, and I liked what they did. I liked what I saw, and so I stuck with it. That's still what I'm doing now for my job, but it's all just people. It all just kinda connects back to the gym, right? It's just
Yeah.
all these people that I'd met that have introduced me to so many opportunities, all these, I feel, mindset tweaks I've learned and personality traits I've developed. It all kinda ties back to the gym, right? A lot of people take it kind of at face value. It's like, "Oh, you just go to lift weights," but it's so much deeper than that, I feel, because it builds relationships, and it builds connections, and it builds personality traits you're not gonna find elsewhere. Um, and so it all just kinda ties back to the same place.
Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with Grant Cardone at all. You probably are where you're in sales.
Grant Cardone, sounds familiar.
He did this challenge. It was like millionaire in 90 days or whatever. They shipped him to, or he got sent to some city in Colorado or whatever. And the first thing he did is he started going to gyms because he said like people that work, they're at gyms. Like you find high quality people at the gym. And that reminds me of what you're
100%.
saying of how you've made a lot of built your network just by going to the gym
Oh,
and from who you met there.
100%. 100%. I've met so many great people from so many different walks of life at the gym. And there's some of my biggest reasons for still going is I go not just to work out, but I go to see them because they're good people and they're my friends, right? So
Yeah.
it does build those relationships, and it does build your network, right? And it's always a good shot to go to the gym if you're trying to build some sort of network, I feel.
Yeah. So my next question is you talked a lot about, the friendships you built at the gym and the network. What would someone do? What would you recommend to someone who wants to, extend their network at the gym, but they, don't really feel comfortable going up and talking to people? How do you do it at least?
Right. Yeah, so that's definitely a very common, I feel, thing. That's kind of honestly how I was when I first started going. I feel I'm a pretty introverted person sometimes when it comes to it, especially when I first started going to the gym. I was very nervous around everybody. I was very introverted, like I said. I mean, I go to the gym, I'm just this scrawny little 16-year-old kid, and there's a bunch of these big, bulky, burly men just everywhere. It's like it's hard not to be intimidated, right? But I will say one thing one thing for certain is that the gym is a very, very open community. I am fortunate enough, at least, to I don't think ever have faced a negative interaction at the gym, right? And I can't say that for everybody, unfortunately, because I can't, control how everybody's interactions with people go. But the gym in general, honestly, is a very open community, and everybody there is very nice, and they are very open to teaching you things. And honestly, that's how I learned a lot of the biggest. That's how I learned a lot essentially from the gym, and it came from literally like the biggest people in the gym. Honestly, I'd say like all in all seriousness, if you're actually looking to make a connection or get advice from someone, go up to the biggest person you can find in the gym. Like in all seriousness, find the biggest, scariest, most burliest looking man you can find in the gym. Go up and talk to him. I guarantee he's one of the nicest people there. 100%. 100%. They have an RBF, right? But it's just kind of a given. I have a bit of an RBF when it comes down to it. But they are very open and they're very nice, like I said. And it's because they can see a lot of I feel themselves in take it someone who's new to the gym. They can see a lot of themselves in that person because, they weren't always that big and scary. They started somewhere too. They all
Yeah.
started from the same place, essentially. Well, not necessarily the same place, but they all kind of have the same roots, right? They were all once, uneducated and not big and strong, and so they had to come from somewhere. And so that's why I found a lot of the really like literally the biggest people in the gym are always the I feel the nicest and like the most kind-hearted and most open people in the gym that are there. And that's where I've gotten most of my advice from. Some of my best friends from the gym are like some of the strongest people in the gym, and they've given me the best advice, and they've given me the best, I guess, motivation, and driven me a lot more than most people, I'd say. So I mean, if you're looking to make a connection, you can't one thing I'll say is it's okay to be awkward, don't get me wrong, and it's okay to not wanna really talk to people, but I feel like it's very difficult to live a successful life, I'd say, or personally develop yourself a lot if you don't talk to people, right? Because that's one of the baselines of growing, I feel like. And so you're already in the gym. It's all about getting out of your comfort zone. You're already in the gym. That's probably out of your comfort zone. You might not want to be there, right? You might as well go do something else that's out of your comfort zone. Go
Yeah.
talk to someone, right? Go talk to the biggest guy in the gym, and that'll really get you out of your comfort zone. Because if you can talk to the biggest, scariest looking guy in the gym, you can talk to anybody else there, right? Because
Yeah.
if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing, right? You got to become
Yeah.
comfortably uncomfortable, I'd say.
Yeah. There's a quote I really like. It says to seek discomfort. Other than the gym, are there any ways you try to intentionally do things that are uncomfortable?
Oh yeah, 100%. And one of them is just like I said, just talking to people, just talking to new people, right? That's something I find uncomfortable sometimes, but I still got to push myself to do it. My sales based job, right? That's pretty
Yeah.
uncomfortable, right? When I'm cold calling people, when I'm doing warm leads, whatnot, I'm talking to new people. And I'm trying to get them down in a meeting essentially. That's uncomfortable. I hate making phone calls, right? Every time I pick up the phone to dial someone, I'm just dreading it. And there's always a part of me hoping that they don't pick up so I don't have to talk to them because it's
Yeah.
uncomfortable, right? But I still got to do it because that's personal development. That's how a business moves forward. That's how people in life move forward is you got to get out of your comfort zone, right? If you're
Yeah.
if you're someone that wants to just live in your comfort zone all your life, then if that's what you're content with, go for it, right? But if you really want to go somewhere, if you really want to grow as a person, you got to get out of your comfort zone. And so that's, like I said, just talking to people. That's like one of the biggest things I could do to get out of my comfort zone. Even
Yeah.
it could even be something as simple, I feel like, as I don't know, going on a run. That's not very comfortable, right? But it helps. It helps. You go out, you go on a run. That helps tremendously with your cardiovascular health. That helps with metabolism. That helps with just all walks of life, essentially, and that's uncomfortable. But those are just, a couple things I feel like. But talking to new people, making new connections is definitely the biggest uncomfortable thing I'd say I do. And it does help tremendously, I feel.
Yeah. I think it's funny because you mentioned how you you think you come from more introversion, but meeting you, I wouldn't label you an introvert at all. Like you seem to be so comfortable with talking to people, and I think it's especially social skills, it's a muscle too. Like you get better at it the more you do it. Like you can't expect to bench 3 plates your first time in the gym. Just like you're gonna get better at talking to people, but you gotta start from somewhere.
100%, 100%. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you think so because back when I first started going to the gym, I was not like that at all. But like you said, talking to people in of itself is like working out a muscle, right? I've gotten better at it over the years going to the gym just because I've been going for, multiple years. And so I'm there almost every day. I've spent I can't even count how many hours in the gym, right? And I've essentially just grown that muscle to the point where I can talk to new people and not seem awkward or, like nervous. So it,
Yeah.
it is a muscle in of itself. I like how you said that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think it's easier for people to look at like physical skills and realize that that's gonna take time, but then when it gets to the mental stuff, then it's like I know you almost expect to be good at it right away because you look at people that are already good at it, but no, it all takes time to do.
It all takes oh yeah, 100%. It all takes time. I like how you phrase that with the mental stuff because you think it'd be easy because like you said, you see someone who's mastered it or you see someone who spent so many countless hours trying to work on that, right? And they might not think they're doing the best, but other people outside can see and it's almost motivating to them, right? To
Yeah.
see that since someone else can be so good at that, well then they can be too, right?
Yeah. So where does this mindset come from for you then? Because it seems like a lot of it is personality, but for me, I like to read a lot of books, just trying to learn, always find ways to learn. Is there, yeah, where do you learn from?
I feel like I learn a lot from personal experience. I like books. I love reading. I'm not like a huge reader, but I do like reading when I get a good book. But I attribute a lot of it to, like I said, personal experiences because at the end of the day, that's the most potent version of learning you can get is a
Yeah.
personal lived experience. And so that's where I try to derive a lot of my learning from, right? It also comes down to I feel kind of the people you surround yourself with in those personal experiences. There's the quote where it's like you kind of become the people who you surround yourself with, right?
Yeah.
So if you're surrounding yourself with people that maybe aren't very driven or are constantly spewing, I guess maybe they're constantly complaining about something or they're constantly just putting out bad vibes. It's like that's gonna kind of grow on you, right? That's gonna kind of attach to you as a person. And so I try and pick and choose who I spend my time with, right? Because at the end of the day, like I said, the people you spend your time with, it's who you're gonna become, right? And that's I really like the people I work with, like at my job outside of the gym. They're all very, very driven, very business oriented, very successful people, right? And I can already feel it paying off on me, and it motivates me, honestly. And it's the same way with going to the gym. I feel like I know a lot of people they when they see someone, bigger or stronger than them, it's intimidating, right? Like it is. But I feel like those are the best people you can work out with is
Yeah.
the people that are bigger and stronger than you. That's the biggest piece of advice I could ever give anybody is if you're truly trying to make progress in the gym, you need to surround yourself with the biggest, strongest people you can find because they are going to motivate you and you're going to subconsciously push yourself faster, push yourself more to try and to try and keep up with them. You might not even notice it, but like I said, subconsciously, you probably push yourself more to try and keep up with them, and that's
Yeah.
where a lot of that growth stems from, right? And they're honestly the most motivating people to be around because you see it right in front of you. It's literally living proof right in front of your eyes that you can be better than yourself, essentially. You can always be
Yeah.
bigger and you can always be stronger. Okay, because you can be the biggest, strongest guy in the gym, but there's always going to be someone out there that's bigger and stronger than you, right? And I'd say go find them and go start working out.
Right. And you don't have to be like disappointed that someone is ahead of you. Like it's not a competition against other people. It's a competition against yourself. And it's awesome that you can always find someone who is better, at least for like 99%. There, at one point you get so high, but there's no issue there yet, especially when you're 18, 17.
100%, 100%. Right? I like how you said how a lot of people they tend to get discouraged when they see someone bigger or stronger than them, and that's a factor that is holding them back so much more than they know. If that's kind of where you're at, you need to get out of that, honestly, as quick as you can. Because if you find it discouraging, then you're going to stray away from those kinds of people. And then you're never
Yeah.
going to grow as a person, right? Because you're not around them, right? And whenever I see someone that's bigger and stronger than me, I get motivated and I go make friends with them. I go say hi. I can do that now because like we already talked about. Talking to people is a muscle. I've trained it so much that I'm comfortable doing that now with people in the gym that are bigger and stronger than me. It still kind of scares me, don't get me wrong. I'm still a little timid when I do, but I got to get out of my comfort zone somehow. So I
Yeah.
see someone bigger and stronger than me, I go and talk to them and I go and make friends with them because I want to work out with them and I want to be around them because they're going to push me harder. They might not realize it, I might not realize it, but subconsciously I will push myself harder to try and keep
Yeah.
up with them. So I always find it very motivating um being friends with a lot of bigger and stronger people than me.
Yeah, I like that. And I noticed you, I'm like, "Dude, this kid doesn't look, like, a lot older than me, and he's benching 4 plates plus some. Like, I gotta go talk to this guy." Or
uh
squatting 4 plates.
Squatting. I wish I could bench 4 plates, man. Could you
My goodness,
imagine?
that would be wild.
Insane, insane. But
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. But yeah, no, that's definitely the biggest thing I could always tell someone is when someone comes up to me and asks, like, "What's a good piece of advice?" That's someone I always go to. Is find someone who's bigger and stronger than you and go make friends with them and
Yeah,
go start working out with. No, I mean,
yeah,
you don't even really need to start working out with them every day at the gym. If they're at the gym, you're gonna see them around anyways, and that's really all you need, right?
yeah. Right, and it breaks beliefs for me of what's possible and what's not possible because it's like, oh, within a year or so, I could be where he's at, and it's like, oh, that's super motivating. It's
Exactly.
super cool to see that. Yeah,
Exactly.
and
That's something I
I feel
always
like
like.
yeah, I feel like what you're saying about finding someone who's bigger and stronger, you can apply that anywhere in life. It doesn't just have to be at the gym. Like I imagine in your sales job, you'd probably look to people who are the best at it and not just try to figure it out on your own. But I don't think that's just, I think that's everywhere in life that that principle is going to help you grow.
100%. That's a principle you can apply to literally any part of your life. Like you said, in business, yeah, there are a lot of people who are very successful and they're very good at their job that I work with, and I look up to them, and I like talking to them, and I like getting tips from them, and I like associating myself with them because it subconsciously makes me better, right? And that's where I've learned a lot of the that's where I've gotten a lot of the development from that job, and that's where I've learned a lot from is them. But yeah, no, you can apply that to literally anywhere in life outside of the job or of, the gym. Even just like the immediate people you hang out with shape you so much as a person and you never realize it, right? I've hung out with all sorts of different types of people and there's good in all of them and they're all great people at heart, right? And so I'd say just make sure the people you're, immediately surrounding yourself with and who you hang out with a lot, people you are proud of or people, that are good for you to be around, I'd say. And people that want to see the best for you and want to see you grow, right? So you can apply that principle everywhere in life. And that's a very important principle to learn.
Yeah. And one of the things I love about the gym is everyone is there to better themselves and improve. I think it's super cool.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Everybody there is there for a reason, whether that's, I don't know, putting on weight, losing weight, getting big, getting ready for a bodybuilding show, getting ready for, powerlifting meet. They're all there at the end of the day. I bet a lot of those people don't want to be there, right? But at the end of the day, they pick themselves up and they go, and that in of itself is motivating, right? That they don't
Yeah.
want to be there and they're still there, and there are plenty of people there that are probably in I don't know I don't want to say worse situations, but there are probably there people there that are going through so much personal crap that you would never even think of, right? They might be
Yeah.
going through one of the hardest times in their life and they're still at the gym. And that's motivating. That's motivating to think about, right? And that everybody there is really there, like you said, for the same reason, right? Nobody's against you at the gym because everybody's there to get better, right? It's one of the most opening communities I think I've ever been welcomed into.
Yeah. It's really cool. It makes me think of something. There's another quote. It said that you'd never be put down by someone who is above you. Like I would never tell someone who is just about to start working out that they shouldn't do that, and there's no reason to. And I don't know, I just think that's super cool that you can always, like, if someone's criticizing you or they're and it's not like actual advice, then they're probably not above you and you can't probably learn from them. But people who are
Exactly.
above you, they're going to help you, and they're like they always want the best for you.
Exactly. And I mean, that can come in all sorts of forms of like help,
Yeah.
right? There's always like someone's always going to give you tough love. There's always going to be someone above you that'll give you some tough love, and it might kind of feel like they're stomping on you a little bit, but those are really the people who want the best for you. Honestly, is what I found is that the people that give you the most crap, essentially, that are kind of where you want to be. They want the best for you, right? But when
Yeah.
I say that, I mean they're giving you like actual advice, and they're not just crapping on you for no reason. Because I feel
Yeah,
like the
for
people that
sure.
kind of crap on you, the people that kind of crap on you for no reason without really any good point of advice, it's almost it's just a form of projection, right? They're just unhappy about something about themselves or where they're at, and
Yeah.
it's honestly jealousy too. They see where you're at and they see where they're not, and they get pissed off about it, and they start giving you crap about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, talking about success and stuff like that, has your view on what success is changed over the years? Because typically people I ask, they'll reference to when they were about your age or my age, and they'll say stuff about cars and money and stuff like that is what they thought it was, and it changed. What is it for you right now?
Oh yeah, it's definitely changed over the years, 100%. When I was younger, I guess success in my mind was being super mega filthy disgusting rich, right? And I feel like that was a lot of people's views, was just being having all the money in the world and all the material possessions that you could ever hope for. But it's shifted significantly over the years. And being successful right now in my mind is maybe not being disgustingly wealthy, but being essentially financially free is a big
Yeah.
one. Being able to pay for my bills and support my family. And that is probably one of the biggest forms of success that I kind of hope to achieve is a family, right? I feel like that's a lot
Yeah.
of people's. I want to be a good husband and father to my future wife and kids, and I want to be able to support them financially, and I want to be able to help them out wherever I can. And that's kind of what success looks like to me, is being I guess a family man, right? Being having a good family, being a good father, a good husband, being like a support system for them and being able to support them with financial freedom. And success to me also looks like, having a good group of friends. That's success to me, because you can't ask for a whole lot more than a good group of friends, right? I hope the friends I have right now, I pray that they're stuck with me till for the rest of our lives, right? Because they're all very great people. And that's what success also looks like to me. So it's definitely shifted a lot fundamentally. Um, but where I see success right now is kind of that area, and that's where I'd
Yeah.
like to keep it.
I think that's super cool. So if you were paid a salary of $100 million, what would you do?
With $100 million,
Yeah, and you had to work for it somehow still. What would the job be?
what would the job be? So I can just choose
Yeah.
any job,
Yeah,
really?
anything you wanna do, and you got paid that, and that's gonna definitely cover any bills unless you're buying, like, 3 yachts a year or something.
Yeah, 100 million. I wouldn't even know what to do with that much money. That's
Yeah.
insane. But 100 million, I guess we're talking like dream job. Well, a dream job. It's kind of I wouldn't say the job I have right now is my dream job, but I mean, it's kind of close to be honest, and it's definitely a stepping stone to be where I want to be. And I guess a dream job for me would be, owning a successful kind of sort of business, right? And a business that almost runs itself and is able to help a lot of people in the process, right? That's kind of where that's kind of what I do, right, for work. I like helping people out, and that's a big part of the reason I like it. But I guess a successful dream job that makes me a bunch of money is a job where I can bring people up with me along the way.
Yeah.
And the job that kind of runs itself while I'm not there, right? And a job where I can go take a vacation and come back and have a paycheck on my desk for waiting for me when I get back. But like I said, a job where I feel good about myself doing what I'm doing, right? And not being a scummy, I don't know, corporate leader that hates all of his employees, right? Like a
Yeah.
job where I can bring people up with me and that they all the people I bring up, they thoroughly enjoy what they do and they enjoy helping people. Um, and a job that essentially just allows, time freedom as well that I can spend with my
No,
family.
yeah. Yeah. Because I don't wanna be like, I wanna run a business when I'm older, but I don't wanna have to be constantly working on that too. Like, I wanna be able to be there for my family. And but yeah, I think that's cool. Do you have any thoughts on what a business like that might look like? Or is that something you're just gonna kinda figure out as you go?
I mean, it's kind of what I'm honestly figuring out as I'm going, right?
Yeah.
The job at work right now, it has a lot of the kind of building blocks set in place for me, but that's if I
Yeah.
do the work, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, it's all still stuff I got to learn about. I mean, I'm just 18. At the end of the day, we're kind of kids, right? And we're just
Yeah.
kind of still figuring everything out. We got a whole lot of life left to live. And so honestly, that's kind of one of the fun aspects of life is just figuring everything out while you're going at it.
Yeah. Right. Something I've been working on recently is while still having, like, future goals and stuff like that, is still enjoying the present because if I'm always looking to the future of, okay, like this is when I'll be set and this is when I'll be happy, then I'm never going to enjoy the moment I'm in because it's just perpetual. And I think that's something important to consider is to definitely still have goals and aspirations, but not let that ruin the in the moment experience.
You having goals and aspirations is definitely a need to creating that, successful future lifestyle that you want. But I mean, think about it in 10 20 years, you're going to be looking back to the moment we're in right now and looking back on that and thinking, man, I wish I was back there. Right. So you definitely need to learn to live in the present because I feel like a lot of people are kind of stuck in that perpetual, like reminiscent kind of mindset, right? Where they're thinking back, man, I wish I was this age again. Man, I wish it was back then. Man, I wish I was doing this, right? But, it's kind of perpetual because it just keeps going on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Like I wish I was 10 years old again because I didn't have any sort of burdens at all because I was 10, right? But when
Yeah.
I'm 20, I'm gonna go, man, I wish I was 18 again, right? So you need to learn to live in the moment and
Yeah.
really enjoy what you have. Really enjoy life, right? Because you only get to go through it once. And it goes by quick, is what I've come to figure out. But it is definitely very important to learn to enjoy it in the moment.
Yeah. Has they have you noticed anything that has shifted that for you from, just always looking to the future and the past for happiness versus enjoying the moment?
Yeah, I'd say, like I said, last kind of couple years is when I really wanted to better myself, and it kind of shifted around then.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when I was younger, I was always looking to the future, and I feel like if you take too long looking into the future, you're gonna miss your present, right? And so
Yeah.
I've met had the pleasure of meeting a few people along the way that have really made me want to become the best version of myself and really enjoy living in the present, like with them, and doing things with them. And so that's where I got lucky. Some of the people I've met. Um, but yeah, just the past few years, that's how where my mindset and when it kind of shifted was when I was really trying to grow myself as a person.
Yeah.
Um, and that's when I kind of learned I needed to live in the prison a bit more.
Yeah. I think that's super cool. So you were about 16, you said, when you started going to the gym, self-improvement, all of that?
Yeah, so I'd say, yeah, it was 15, 16. It was
15,
around that age.
16. Yeah.
I kind of forgot. I'm gonna be honest, but it was
No, yeah.
around 15, 16, 15, 16-year old mark, and that's when I started working out. But
Yeah.
really a lot more, lot deeper into the personal development stuff just as of the last, I'd say, year or two.
Yeah. What were the reasons for you that you wanted to do that?
Just like grow more as a person. I'd say honestly, it was a lot of the experiences I went through in that age that, um, I mean, yeah, they kind of sucked, right? I'll just say that. but they definitely pushed me to want to grow more as a person. Yeah, the experiences I went through, they sucked, but I'm glad I went through them at the same time because
Yeah.
if I didn't, I wouldn't have grown, right? It was those personal experiences and it was people I met along the way. Um and they all just made me kind of want to be, like I said, a better version of myself after meeting them.
Yeah.
And better myself for them, essentially, I guess. But that's kind of was my reasoning. To get a lot deeper into it was just the experiences and people I met, and I knew that if I wanted to get to the place where I wanted to be, I had to better myself, essentially. And so that's when I kind of started getting a lot more deeper into that.
Yeah. It's crazy the impact having good friends who have goals and dreams can have on your own success and well-being. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, 100%. You don't even realize how much the people you spend your time with shape you until you, well, I mean, you really never realize it, to be honest, until
Yeah.
someone points it out. But they shape you so much more than you can ever know, subconsciously. And so it's always very important to choose who you want to share your time with, right? So I'm very lucky
Yeah.
to have people close to me that I enjoy spending my time with and that, want the best for me and I want the best for them too.
Yeah. Yeah, just everyone lifting each other up. So
Exactly.
something that stood out to me when I met you is you mentioned that you were trying to get stronger for powerlifting on your own, but you ended up hiring a coach, and I think that shows a lot of character is seeing that you're not the best at it, and
No.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what impact has hiring a coach had for you?
Wow. Everywhere, all around the gym improvement, right? So when I say I started competing in powerlifting was beginning of 2024 was when I really got into it. I signed on with the Federation USPA. And for the first year, I was just doing it myself. And a lot of it, I feel like came down to ego, right? I just had a higher ego.
Yeah,
When I was, 17, I was in high school. Oh, I don't need a coach. Oh, I can do it myself. Oh, it's fine. I've made it this far already. I don't need a coach, right? So it was that. I, first year, I went through my first year of powerlifting, did pretty good. And then I came off of a competition and my body it was just screaming. It was just hurting. Like, the most pain it's ever been in. I was probably a few weeks away from getting like, a life-altering injury, to be honest, because I was just pushing
man.
myself too hard. Just too hard in the gym, right? And so I was talking to one of my friends, and he introduced me to my coach that I have now. His name's Adam Peeler, great guy. Um, and so I was like, "Fine." I bit the bullet. I got a coach, and literally, it was insane. Literally within like, a single month, he had me feeling great. He had me feeling from, like, the worst my body had ever felt to the best in, like, a
That's so
month,
cool.
which was insane, right? And so, getting a coach has helped with all aspects of going to the gym, with literally everything, with the programming, with the lifting, with technique, with eating.
Mhm.
There's if you are truly looking to make progress in, I don't know, I don't care what it is, if it's in the gym, even if it's outside of the gym, if it's just in some sort of sport, right? If you're trying to get bigger, if you're trying to get ready for a competition, get a coach, right? Because you
Yeah.
don't know everything, right?
No.
100% you do not know everything, and they will always know more than you. And so, like I said, like we were already talking about, it just goes back to, like, the bigger, stronger guy thing. It
Yeah.
also goes back to people who have more knowledge than you. If you wanna get smarter, you gotta surround yourself and make friends with people who have more knowledge than you and are smarter than you, right? My coach is so much smarter than me when it comes to the gym. The he's like a genius. I don't know, and so I learned a lot from him, right? And since he has all that kind of knowledge that he's been so graciously shared with me, I've never felt stronger, to be honest, and I've never looked better, and I've never felt more confident in my abilities to compete. So it's helped with, I feel like, all aspects of working out and going to the gym, and getting a coach was definitely probably one of the best decisions I've made in my powerlifting
Yeah.
career.
That's super cool, and you can get coaches in all aspects of life, like, you can get, like, marriage coaches, you can get, sales coaches, like, anything you wanna get good at, there's probably someone who coaches it.
There's a coach out there for it, literally.
Yeah, yeah. So, my audience is gonna be people about my age, a little bit younger. You shared a lot about, finding someone who's bigger than you, stronger than you. For the last question here, do you have any more advice for those guys? If you were, let's say you were going through 15 to 18 again, what would you do differently?
Biggest biggest piece of advice I could probably give is don't be afraid to fail and get comfortable being uncomfortable because those are the two biggest aspects of growth you will ever go through, right? I couldn't count on 100 pairs of hands how many times I failed at something in the gym, right? But it was motivating to me all along the way because when you fail at something, you live and you learn, essentially. It's like that whole quote, you live and you learn, right? You fail, well, don't get discouraged. That's hard to say. I know I say don't get discouraged. Like it's so easy for me to say. It's hard not to be discouraged. Don't get me wrong. It's hard not to be discouraged when you fail at something, but you need to learn that you need that failure because you can't be successful if you haven't failed. Failure and success coexist with each other because you can't have one without the other, right? So you need to fail to be able to learn to taste success, essentially. Because every time you fail, you learn something new that you can apply the next time you try it and get you closer to succeeding. So I would always
Yeah,
say never be afraid of failing in the gym because you're going to fail a lot. You're going to fail a lot at everything outside of the gym. You're going to fail a lot in life, right? But that's stuff you should always take and apply to the next time, next go around you try something. Because you will never learn more from experience than when you failed from, right? And that just goes back to get comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Because failing's pretty uncomfortable, man. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. But you got to get out of that comfort zone if you want to learn to grow and if you want to learn to become the best version of yourself. So that's kind of the piece of advice I'd give.
yeah, I like that. My one of my favorite quotes right now is it says, "Winners fail more than losers." It's like it's not that the winners are lucky or anything; they just are willing to fail more times and put in the reps more
Oh yeah,
times.
100%. You look at, you literally look at any any of the top athletes in whatever you're doing in life, whether you're competing in powerlifting or bodybuilding or any other sport. You look at the top level athletes. Right, they have failed more times than you've ever tried anything in that sport, and that's why they're where they're at, right, is because they learned to fail, essentially, and so that's what I've learned along the way.
Yeah, I like that. I think the skill is invaluable, is learning to be okay with failure.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming onto the podcast today, Bridger. I think anyone that listens to this is going to learn a lot. And yeah, it's been great to have you.
I hope so, yeah, thank you for having me, I appreciate it was good talking to you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.